Hey everyone, it's me, Mr. Belka. Unfortunately, without my camera today because I'm having just a whole lot of trouble getting stuff to work on my computer this week. Here are your assignments for the week of May 26th through 29th. Oh, yeah, before we start, reminders. Don't forget that you can listen to teachers read stories on YouTube. Just use the page of Read Aloud links on the Google Classroom page. And also, you can join me for a video chat if you'd like to say hello this Friday from 11 to noon. No pressure, of course, if you're busy or whatever, but it's always nice to see people's faces, especially if I haven't seen you in a while. I'd love for you to stop by. All right, on to your weekly learning targets. So here are this week's targets. 1, I can maintain my reading stamina by reading for at least 20 minutes a day. And 2, I can add description and sensory detail to my memoir. Now, if you have time, you could move on to number 3. I can continue to grow and stretch my learning in ELA by participating in new activities from a choice board. But if you don't have time, then just save that for next week, and that's totally fine. That's basically what we'll be doing for the rest of the year. And I'll get into more detail about all of those in just a moment here. Okay, so first, reading. Don't forget to read. You should read 20 minutes a day, and if you can fill out a reading log, that's great. If you don't have like a computer that works for that to do that, that's fine. Just read. You can read books or magazines, or we have all those different links of websites that you could go to if you run out of stuff to read. All right. All right. Now on to revising and editing. So many people turned in a revised version of their narrative, their memoir, to me this week. And what we've got is great. But I'd like people to take maybe just one more pass at it, one more time through, and really focus on just adding sensory details, dialogue, and action in one particular scene of your choice. So here's a quick demo of it. I have 2 versions of a passage from a fictional narrative, so a little bit different. And the first one is like a pretty good version. It does have some strengths that I'll talk about, but version 2 overall is what it looks like when you stretch a scene out. So I'll read both. While I'm reading them, think about which one's more interesting to read and why. Version 1. I noticed that the door to my bedroom was open. I ran towards it full force, expecting a burglar, but nobody was there. Okay, so that's a decent start. It's got some thoughts and feelings, and it's also got a small action that the character takes. So it's got some elaboration. Now, version 2 is what I and a couple other language arts teachers were able to do to stretch this scene out using some of the techniques that you see listed on the right. So think about it. Is this more interesting? I sure hope it is. I walked up the creaking stairs to my bedroom thinking about the mountain of homework I had to do. As I looked up, I noticed that the door to my bedroom was open. What the? I thought to myself. Someone must be in my room. My heart pounded in my chest. I was terrified out of my mind and didn't know what to do. Should I run or attack? Mom? I called out. Are you here? No answer. I heard a faint rustling from beyond the door and the quietest squeak of the floorboards. There must be a burglar in the house. I was going to hit that burglar over the head with my math textbook. I took out the book and ran on my tiptoes towards my room. As I barged in, it was clear that nobody was there. I murmured to myself. So, hopefully the second version is more interesting to read. And why is that? Well, it's got more detail. But that detail, it doesn't just come in a list, right? We used some really specific and helpful techniques to make the writing more interesting to read. So now let's take a look at that list. The 4 ways that we stretched this scene out were 1, showing what the character thinks and feels. 2, using small actions. 3, using dialogue. And 4, adding sensory details. So you notice in version 1, there were some thoughts and feelings, and there was use of small actions that the character takes to make it more interesting. So it's not that it was a terrible piece. It just wasn't quite as good as version 2. So version 2, you can see that we've found different places where we could use all 4 of those things, and we've color-coded them, right? Kind of turquoise for thoughts and feelings, purple pink, for actions, green for what the characters say in dialogue, and then 4 for sensory details. So what I would like you to do today, not today, this week, is I'd like you to open your memoir one more time, and I'd like you to choose one scene, one part that you wrote, and I would like you to try to use all 4 of these methods, to stretch the scene out. And when you're done, color code it using the same colors that we've used here, okay? All right. So if you finish all of that and turn it in, then you can go on to the end of the year choice board. This is what you'll be using after this week. This will be where your assignments will be coming from. And if you're ready to start this week, you can. So this is to keep the learning going even after your memoir is done. Okay, notice I say here, after your memoir is done. So that's what we're looking for. Don't start on the choice board until you've finished and turned in your memoir. Okay? So I'll show you really quickly how to use the choice board, and maybe next week I'll show you what I did for one of these options so you can have a little more detail. But basically what you're going to do is there are 5 categories, reading, writing, connecting, that's connecting with other people, following your passion, and doing things for wellness. And for each one of those, we work together to create instructions for 3 activities. And what you do is you will find this PowerPoint, which I'll attach to the assignment, click on one of the links, like I'm doing here. I'm going to hide this. So I clicked on Read a Poem, which takes me to a Google Doc that explains the goal and the steps. So I follow those steps, and then when I'm done, I'll go back to Google Classroom and fill out a reflection form talking a little bit about what I did for the week. Okay, so that's what you can do once you've done a stretched scene from your memoir. Again, you don't have to do this week if you're not done with your memoir. So memoir's first priority, and get that done first, okay? All right. And really, that is about all we've got for work this week. If you have any questions, of course, always send me an email. Bye for now. I miss you all, and I hope to see you soon. All right. Have a great day.